Am I the asshole for turning off my alarm in the morning, resulting in my roommate missing her first class? So this just happened about an hour ago and I need some confirmation that I'm not in the wrong here. I'm on mobile, so apologies in advance for formatting. My 21 female roommate, 20 female, are living in the same college dorm together. While we don't share a room, our rooms are adjacent to one another and the walls are pretty thin so we can hear each other pretty easily through them. My first class on Mondays is normally at 9 in the morning, but today I woke up a little bit before my alarm, around 7:45, and checked my email to see that it was cancelled because the professor is sick. Since my next class wouldn't be until 12 o'clock, I turned off my alarm and fell back asleep. Around 9:30 I woke up to the sound of my roommate rushing around and being pretty noisy. I knew she had a class at 9 o'clock too, so I was curious as to why she was still here. I got up out of bed and walked out into the hallway between our rooms and saw that she was frantically running around trying to get ready. As soon as she saw me, she got this scowl on her face and angrily asked me why my alarm didn't go off. I told her my first class got cancelled and that I wanted to sleep in a little. Then she tells me that, thanks to me, she's super late for her first class. Apparently she relies on my alarm going off in the morning rather than setting one herself. I had no idea that was the case and still don't really understand why she doesn't have her own alarm set. I tried to apologize, but she was too preoccupied and seemed to be ignoring me. After a few minutes she was out the door, and since then I've been sitting in bed wondering if I'm really the asshole here or if she's only got herself to blame. I tried to apologize. No. At 20, she can set her own alarm. There was no communication from her. She relied on your alarm. She wanted to blame someone other than herself for something 100% her fault. Not the asshole. This original poster. Do not apologize. Not the asshole. Alarms come free on mobile phones and she's a grown-ass woman who can set her own grown-ass alarms. YTA to yourself for apologizing when you did nothing wrong. It just gives people the message that you're an easy target to abuse. The fact that you're even debating if you're an asshole shows you need to work on your assertiveness and esteem. None of this is a criticism, I know this from my own negative experiences. Your roommate is ridiculous and entitled. Not the asshole. You are 100% correct. Original poster read this comment. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You're not responsible for making sure she gets up in the morning. Hope she comes back in a better mood and apologizes. She likely was just freaking out about being late and will realize how stupid her comments were once she has calmed down. I just wouldn't stress over it at all unless roommate comes back still upset. Not the asshole. And you didn't need to apologize either, as you did nothing wrong. She has her own phone, I assume. There is no excuse for her not setting her own alarm. Not the asshole. You are not her mommy and she needs to grow up and be responsible for setting her own alarm if she needs to be up. Do not apologize to this girl, unless it's one of those, I'm sorry you were late to class, but maybe you should set your own alarm from now on, kind of apologies. I think if vibrating alarms will wake original poster up, she should only set those so none of her alarms make noise that the roommate can use to wake up to again. Like if she comes back still being rude and demanding that original poster keeps her alarm set. Cause like seriously, she woke up before her alarm, which means even if her class hadn't been cancelled she would have just got up and got ready, meaning the alarm would be turned off either way. Roommate is an idiot lol. I was just thinking that I bet the roommate would have been equally pissed if she wanted to sleep in and ops alarm went off. For that reason I would take up 5 a.m. birdwatching on weekends, and while the vibration wakes me up during the week, on the weekend I need that volume turned up to 11. Not the asshole. It's her own fault for not setting her own alarm. You're not responsible for managing someone else's schedule. Not the asshole. She needs to be an adult and set her own alarm, you aren't her mom. Don't apologize, you did nothing wrong. I think you know you're not the asshole but are needing validation from others because someone got upset with you and that's rattled you. Speaking from experience. Maybe it's time to do some inner work. People can be jerks, and if you don't back yourself in these kinds of scenarios you'll end up compromising your own life. I think you're right, but I do think it's a real thing that happens when you move from home into a shared room like that, or even a shared house, where you start realizing that your lived experiences and expectations are not universal. From little things, like where the silverware belongs in a kitchen, to big things like how to communicate basic problems. And I think sometimes you do need a sanity check, like, am I the weird one for not waking her up? Is this a social expectation that other people have? And in truth, I think original poster's not the asshole, but it's also completely plausible to me that original poster's roommate has grown up in an environment where waking up other people as opposed to setting multiple alarms is the norm. I've done that on camping trips and vacations. Okay, wake me up when it's my turn to shower, and I know some sorority houses do it. It does avoid multiple obnoxious alarms, there's an advantage to it. Maybe she shared a room with multiple siblings and they all shared a single alarm. Maybe her dad woke her up each morning before he left for work. She could just be an entitled asshole who would have criticized original poster regardless, but she might just be learning a lesson right now that not everyone's family operates like hers. Hopefully she's gut-checking her reaction with other people in her life and hopefully they're coming back with an honest, that's an unreasonable expectation. Not the asshole, she's an adult, she can use her own alarm. Not the asshole, most likely she just had negative emotions in the moment she was offloading onto you. Here's hoping. Not the asshole, it's her fault for not having her own alarm set or at the very least telling you that she uses your alarm to get ready. You had no idea, so it can't be considered your fault. She needs to grow up and not be so entitled. I bet she has a phone and phones have alarms on them. College is where you learn to be more independent and she should have known better than to rely on other people's alarm clocks secretly through the walls. I have a toddler's watch, which I obviously resized, and it has an alarm on it. There are alarms on everything with buttons nowadays. I'm just going to guess original poster's roommate gets startled by her own alarm, or is just otherwise annoyed by it, so she goes by original poster's alarm instead. Truly a dumb thing to do. Rely on something over which one has no control, but others do. I hope this girl was just frustrated at the moment and apologizes when she gets home. I feel like you've got the reasonable answer. She was probably frazzled and took it out on original poster in the heat of the moment. I piggyback off my husband's alarm. I'd be annoyed at myself if he turned it off, which could come out as snappy at him. I'm human, not perfect. Original poster I'd say wait and see what your roommate does when she gets back before condemning her. To be real, I sleep downstairs because of a medical issue and don't use an alarm because I'm up at 5, regardless. If I were to oversleep and my partner did not wake me up before leaving for work, I'd probably be pretty damn aggravated, initially. It'd probably take me a wee bit to chill before I'd be reasonable about the subject. Not the asshole. It's her responsibility to get up on time. She's a grown-up. It's not your fault. She'll learn a lesson from this about relying on other people for stuff she should be taking care of herself. Not the asshole. It is her responsibility to set her own alarm and get herself to class. This is an example why. Would she expect you to wake her up if you were sick or out of town? She is being ridiculous. Not the asshole, and do not let her convince you or treat you like you are. Whatever you do, do not apologize again, and if she brings it up, tell her she is not your responsibility and you are not her keeper. She's a big girl, so it's time to take accountability for her own mistakes.